All right. Am I properly visible to each one of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So children, we'll start with the third chapter today. Theory base of accounting, accounting standards and international financial reporting system. Now there are certain conventions and principles on the basis of which the rules of accounting are based, and we call these principles as sorry, generally accepted accounting principles, GAAP. Now these generally accepted accounting principles can be used for accounting when we use it in India, and also when we use it otherwise in some other countries. So in this chapter, children, we'll talk about the generally accepted accounting principles, on what all theoretical base they are based upon. For example, if there is a situation like in the last chapter you have studied what is the book value. Now, to count it at a book value, to consider an asset at a book value, or to consider an asset at a market value, you have to make a choice. Which one would be more better to record? So, a book value or an accounting value? इन दोनों में से कौन सी वैल्यू को हमें कंसिडर करना है to use? Or for example, if there is stock, inventory stock which is available to us, is it to be calculated at the closing stock price, or is it to be evaluated at the opening price? This is how we have to make the differentiations. So at times there are many confusions, at times there are many queries as to there is a particular situation and how am I supposed to take it in the books of accounts. All these queries can be sorted up if we look up to these accounting principles, standards, concepts and conventions. Please be very careful. Initially, all will appear to be the same to you. But actually, principles, concepts, conventions and very important AS, the accounting standards. These are different things and they are used for different purposes for making some general rules for accounting. So all this we are going to study in this chapter. As I said, some generally accepted accounting principles are there. These accounting principles can be divided into two groups. Please write down. The accounting principles can be divided into two groups. First are the concepts and second are the conventions. There can be concepts on the basis of which accounting works, and there can be certain conventions on the basis of which accounting works. So you see, concepts are the basis for formulating the accounting practices. These are those theoretical bases. ये वो theoretical material होता है on the basis of which we define the rules for accounting. On the other hand, what are conventions? Conventions are tried and tested applications. And because they have proved successful in the previous accounting years, we will continue to follow them in the coming years also. So concepts are the theoretical basis, whereas conventions we have applied, we have derived results and now we will stick to this. Those are the conventions. So concepts वो होते हैं जो theoretical base बनाते हैं किसी भी practical question को करने के लिए. Suppose if there is a chapter which is formula based, you will be needing the written formula. In the similar way, there are certain concepts in accounting also. You need them to formulate coming accounting procedures and practices. Now secondly, conventions. Past year में हमने एक पर्टिकुलर असेट को ऐसे इवैल्यूएट किया था, उसकी वैल्यू कैलकुलेट करी थी और उस वजह से हमें उसकी करेक्ट वैल्यू मिल सकी. Means the process went successful. Now since the process went successful in 2020-21, we have continued to follow it in the in the accounting year 21 and 22 also. So this is a convention, the usually followed practice by any accounting concern. For example, if there is an X limited or an X accounting concern which says when we follow the double entry system, the results that we achieve are the correct ones. So we will continue to follow the double entry system. We will continue to add these things as our expenditure. We will continue to add these things as our revenue. and therefore we will continue to follow them in future also. So those are the conventions or policies which the business concern follows year after year. All right. So children, let us now talk about the features of these accounting principles. As I told you, these are the concepts and conventions on the basis of which the rules are dependent. Why do we depend all the accounting rules on these concepts and conventions? Let us find out. Because they are man-made and they are flexible and they are generally accepted by most of the business concern. Now it says that they are man-made. If you check out, it says they are man-made and therefore they do not stand the scrutiny like the principles of natural science, and they are the best possible suggestions based on practical experiences. They are man-made. Means the accountants or the people who are very well versed in accounting practices, they have tried and tested them. They are man-made and therefore they need no more proofs. So nobody is required to prove. Why is double entry system better? Because when we applied it in the previous years, it brought us proper results. So they are man-made and they don't need further scrutiny. इसको हमें कहीं पर अप्लाई करके इसकी ऑथेंटिसिटी चेक करने की ज़रूरत नहीं होती है. Next, they are flexible. Now, since they are man-made, we have created them for our needs. They are flexible also. In case the market demands or the situation changes, we can bring changes to these accounting practices also, accounting policies, accounting principles also. So they are flexible in nature. Depending upon the requirements of the business, we can make changes to it. Third point is they are generally accepted. It is not that one firm says, I will follow accounting practices and I will make a balance sheet. The other firm says the same type of other private limited or another private company, it says no, balance sheet is of no use. No. If you are a public limited company, if you are a private limited company, you have to make a balance sheet. Means they are generally accepted. If the business concern is of same nature, they will follow the similar accounting practices. अगर उनका बिजनेस करने का तरीका, उनका अकाउंट्स मेंटेन करने का तरीका सिमिलर है, तो उनके अकाउंटिंग प्रिंसिपल्स जिस पर उनकी अकाउंटिंग बेस्ड है, that will also be the same. It will be generally accepted and people will not question. For example, I am an accounts teacher. The way I will teach you what is debit, what is credit, in the similar way, if you will go to some other city or to some other state or to some other country, the rules will remain the same. They have a general acceptability. Children, I hope you are getting what are the features of accounting principle. Can you just confirm? Are you able to get it?
Yes, ma'am.
And one more thing, if you are able to see the board properly or not. So accounting principles can be divided into two parts: accounting concepts and accounting conventions. Conventions are the derivations of practical application. If you want, you can write it. Conventions क्या होते हैं? हमने apply करके देखा और पता किया कि ये तो result oriented है. So we have started using it in our regular practices. Concepts are those bases, the theoretical base, the logics on which the rules are based upon. Now, the features of these accounting principles, why do we use these concepts and why do we use these conventions? We use them because they are man-made. The proofing or the scrutiny or the authenticity requirement is not there. They are correct. Then they are flexible because the demand of business enterprise changes. That is why they have to be flexible. And since it provides the possibility of being flexible, so we use them. The third thing is they are generally acceptable. They are generally acceptable by, you can say not all, by most of the business concern of the same type. Now you will say small scale industries and very huge big business enterprises, are these both the same? They may not be the same. The financial requirements of a school अपने records कैसे maintain करता है? They do through a non-profit organization, whereas a company which is only profit oriented, for example, Palmolive, or you can say Hindustan Unilever, or you can say Reliance Industries Limited, or you can say Adani. All these are very huge big business enterprises, but they are generally accepted of the business firms of this by the business firms of the same type, of the same nature. And to be generally acceptable होने के लिए they have to have a relevance, connectivity. Relevance means they should connect to the current scenario जो उस business enterprise में चल रहा है. The objective of making these accounting procedures should be clear. Why are we doing accounting? So that we can classify, we can summarize, and we can orient the results. We can compare those results and make future policies. They should be objective oriented and feasible. A human being should be easily able to follow and run these practices. So these are the features. Now the fundamental accounting assumptions on concepts. Starting with the concepts, let us now begin with some of the concepts of accounting. If you can follow your book, it is properly mentioned over there also. Basically, we follow 3 basic concepts. The first concept includes, can anybody repeat? Come on.
Going concern concept.
Yes, going concern concept. The first concept, that is the most important one for any business enterprises, the going concern concept. Do you know continuous tense? Come on, present continuous. A work has started and is continued also. In the similar way, the business is considered to be a going concern. Or like I gave you an example last time also, does anybody starts a business with an intention of closing it within few weeks or within few years? No. What will a businessman pray? He will pray that his business continues to run for years and years, right? So in the similar way, we say that the first concept is going concern of a business enterprise. Please write down. Under the going concern concept, under the going concern concept, a business is said to be a going concern. A going concern means it is started with the intention, of continuation in the coming years also. With the intention of continuation or continuing in the coming years. That is why the closing balances are calculated. That is why the closing balances are calculated at the end of one financial year. At the end of one financial year, and they are to be continued, and they are to be continued as the opening balances of next financial year. As the opening balances of next financial year. Now the going concern concept says, if a business was running in the year 2021, what all were the results of this year? They have summarized it into a balance sheet. This is liability side, this is asset side. All the closing balances are written at a market value, or if the business follows book value, then they will be at book value. Now the closing balances of 2021 will be made on 31st March 2021, right? Children, are you able to connect to this? The closing balances of 2020-21. What will be the end of financial year 2021? What is the last date for financial year 2020-21?
31st March.
31st March of?
2022.
No, 21.
2021.
हाँ 20 मार्च किसका 20 का नहीं 21 का 31st March 2021 is the last day of doing all this. The financial book closes. Now this closing balance will become the opening balance for 1st April 2021. 1st April 2021. The first day of the new financial year would be 1st April 2021. And this will be carried on till what will be the last day of this financial year? Yes, children.
Ma'am, 31st March 2022.
No, my dear. 31st March?
2021.
No. 1st April 2021 to?
2022.
Yes, 31st March 2022 will be the last year. So, this is the financial year. 1st April 2021 to 31st March 2022. These basic concepts should be clear to you. Otherwise, how will you do the practical questions? And then 2022-23, the next year, the opening balances will be carried forward. So, our business is said to be a going concern because whatever we do in the last year, it is to be continued in the next year and in the next year and so on. So children, is it clear what is a going concern concept?
Yes, ma'am.
The going
Yes, sir.
concern concept says what? The going concern concept says business is a regular and continuous activity and the business activities will be continued. जैसे इस previous year में continued थी वैसे ही इस year में भी continued रहेंगी और ऐसे आने वाले बहुत सारे years में भी continued रहेंगी. Which gives us this concept? The going concern concept gives us this concept. Clear with the first one, going concern concept?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Why is
Yes,
a
ma'am.
business said to be a going concern? A business is said to be a going concern because all the practices, all the accounting that we do, we wish to do the same in the coming years. We wish to continue the business in the coming years. Next one. What is the next concept? Please tell.
Consistency assumption.
You need to have your book with you when you are sitting for class. The next concept is consistency. The concept of consistency. What do you mean by consistent? A student is showing consistently poor performance. What does this mean?
Ma'am, regularly.
Regularly poor. This fellow, he is showing consistently good marks. What does this mean? Yes, he has been good throughout. He has been good for a long time, right? He is consistent in his performance, right? Consistency. So the consistency concept, the second one, consistency concept says, when you started the business, you adopted some rules and regulations on the basis of which you will do your accounting. I repeat, when you started your business, you decided, I will follow these rules. I will do my accounting on the basis of double entry system. And जितने years तक आपका business run करेगा, you must be consistent in using those same rules and regulations. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि we started with some other rules and regulations and in between we changed them, we switched them. If you do this, ये वाले क्लोजिंग बैलेंसेस जो हमने कैलकुलेट किए हैं और अगर हमने इसको डबल एंट्री सिस्टम से कैलकुलेट किया एंड नाउ यू चेंज योर मेथड ऑफ अकाउंटिंग, तो इनकी ऑथेंटिसिटी जीरो हो जाएगी बिकॉज ये तो हमने किसी और मेथड से करा है, राइट? और ये कोई और मेथड है. For example, uh, English medium, switching from English medium school to Hindi medium. You have been studying in English medium school, all the concepts you know, all the terms you know, those are in English. Now when you go to Hindi medium school, you will be learning some new concepts. And will you be continuing to write those in English only?
No, ma'am.
No, you will not write in English. You have to learn the Hindi formation of letters, right? In the similar way, the consistency in accounting should also be there. If you are following double entry system for the past 5 years, you must continue to maintain regularity, similarity, consistency in the accounting results. So the consistency concept says, जो concept हमने business की starting में use किया है, उसको switch over हम ना करें. You should better stick to the same accounting policies. You can always make alteration in them. Then you will say, ma'am, how will it be flexible, right? But you can always make changes in the you can always add some of the practices and you can remove some of the steps, but you should not change the way you are maintaining your accounts. So the consistency concept says the records should be consistent in order to compare them with each other. How can I compare your results? Because all of you are in class 11C, all of you are commerce student. If I start comparing Samarth's result with Yashasvi, I hope you know him, right? So science student, math student. Is it possible to get correct results? One is commerce student, one is math student. Can I compare those?
No, ma'am.
No, I won't be able to compare those. In the similar way, to have consistency in accounting records, you must follow the consistency concept. Shall we move to the third one, children?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Have you written anything in this? Whatever I explain, if you feel like that you can write it in your own words, you can better write it also. So in the consistency concept, you please write. It is believed that the accounting practices, or you can write it is expected that, believed won't match. It is expected that the accounting policies / practices, once selected and adopted should be applied every year, full stop. This helps in easy comparing of accounting results. This helps in easy comparing of accounting results. Children, clear with the consistency concept? The business has to be a going concern. The business has to have consistency. Now the third one. Please read out the third one.
Accrual assumption.
The third one is accrual. Now what do you mean by accrual? Accrual assumption says that you have to be an optimist. Who is an optimist, children? Optimist कौन होता है? Who is an optimist?
One who thinks positive.
Very good. Somebody who thinks मेरा नुकसान कभी भी नहीं होगा, मेरा फायदा ही फायदा होगा. Right? Now accrual concept says if there is a credit sales, if the money is due to be received, you please consider it as it will come to you. बस इतना ही है. The accrual concept says it is accrued. The word ACCRUED, accrued. Now this word in accounting means accrued to be received. ACCRUED, Accrued income. This is a very important concept that you will use in the practical questions. So this is based on this assumption that if you have made credit sales or if you have some money due from others, you will receive it. And because you will receive it, जो अभी तक नहीं भी receive हुई है, उसको भी हम accrued income कहते हैं. It will come to you. Remember yesterday we were talking about bad debts. Bad debts. Remember?
Yes, ma'am.
What are bad debts? Who are debtors? What are bad debts? Debtors are those from whom you have to receive money. Then what are bad debts?
Then when a debtor cannot give money back.
When the debtor will not provide
From the amount
creditor
which the
nahi,
businessman
debtor.
get back.
When the debtor will not pay you a certain sum of money, then that is called as a bad debt. But
Yes,
till the time bad debts occur, we consider that these are the debtors and they will pay to us. Do we consider this? Yes, we do consider that these are my debtors and they will pay me this money. What type of income will it be? It is an accrued income. It has not yet received, but you have already earned this income. For example, if there is an employee who is working in a business concern, he worked for 30 days, okay, and the salary is due on 1st of July. He has worked for June and now the salary is due on 1st July. He has already earned it by giving out the services. Now, if he does not receive his salary on time, till the time he does not receive his salary on time, it will be counted as an accrued income for him. Because वो उसको बस receive होना बाकी है, उसने वो earn तो कर ली है. In the similar way, when we do sales in the business, और when we have anybody जिससे हमें मनी रिसीव होना है, जब तक वो रिसीव नहीं होता है तब तक भी हम उसे अक्रूड या अर्नड मानते हैं और हम उसे बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट में शो करते हैं. समटाइम्स यू से इट इज नॉट रिसीव्ड एज येट, व्हाई टू शो इट लाइक सेल्स. तो इस कॉन्सेप्ट की वजह से हम कैश सेल्स को भी सेल्स बोलते हैं और क्रेडिट सेल्स को भी सेल्स बोलते हैं. सो अक्रूअल कॉन्सेप्ट सेज if there is an income if there is an income which is earned but not received, which is earned, EARNED, earned but not received as yet, it will be considered as accrued. ACCRUED. It will be considered as accrued. Can you see the term correctly now? Okay. It will be termed as accrued. Full stop. For example, goods sold on credit. Goods sold on credit. Goods sold on credit will be considered as sales as we expect that the money due, DUE, that the money due from debtors. I hope you are writing. Check. Yes, children. I hope you are writing.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. That the money due from debtors will be received by the business. That the money due from debtors will be received by the business. So any confusion with the going concern concept, consistency and accrual concept, please tell me right now.
No, ma'am.
Okay. Fine. Accounting principles are based on 2 points. They can be concepts and there can be conventions. Concepts are the theoretical base and conventions are the tried and tested practices. Fine. What are the features for the concept and conventions? किसी भी accounting concept को accounting concept या convention होने के लिए क्या होना चाहिए? It has to be flexible, it has to be generally acceptable, and it should not require cross checking. And they are man-made, they do not need scrutiny, means they should not require cross checking, means you are maintaining the accounts also and then you are doubting also. This should not be there. All right, these should be the features. Now on the basis of this we have derived 3 concepts of accounting. Please read out. The first concept is,
Going concern concept.
speak up, more children, more of you should respond. The first concept is
Going concern concept.
going concern concept. Fine. Going concern concept. You can remember it like this. Going concern concept, continuous tense. It was continued in the past and it will continue in the future. So going concern concept says business is said to be a going concern. जैसे वो लास्ट ईयर चल रहा था इस साल भी चलेगा और कमिंग ईयर्स भी इट विल आल्सो बी फ्रूटफुल. So according to the going concern concept, we derive out the closing balances of the previous accounting year and we take them as the opening balances of the current accounting year. और इसके लिए हमें जो भी calculations या evaluations की ज़रूरत होती है, we do it through doing the final accounts. Consistency. A business recording has to be consistent. Consistency in performance, right? Whichever concept you have used in the previous years, in the coming years also, if your nature of business is not changing, you should continue to use the same concepts, right? Clear with the consistency concept? Accounting records में
Yes, ma'am.
अकाउंटिंग रिकॉर्ड्स में कंसिस्टेंसी होनी चाहिए, कंसिस्टेंसी ऑफ बिहेवियर होना चाहिए. जैसे अगर 2 इयर्स की बैलेंस शीट है और वो एक ही मेथड से बनाई गई है, इट इज इजी टू कंपेयर बोथ, राइट? द थर्ड वन, इट इज द अक्रूवल कॉन्सेप्ट. अक्रूवल कॉन्सेप्ट इज बेस्ड ऑन द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ accrued what? Accrued income. Basically on accrued income. The accrual concept says if an income is generated, it will be received by the business also. अगर वो income हमने earn कर ली है तो वो हमारे business में आएगी भी, और जब तक वो credit रहती है तब तक भी हम उसे अपनी income ही count करते हैं. बस ये concept हमें यही बताता है. Accrual concept says if there is an income which has arrived, it will be recorded as an earned income into your business, and once it is received, it is of course it will be received by the business. Any confusion with going concern, consistency and accrual concept, children?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Okay. Now the next topic is principles. I suggest you must read it out and then we'll talk about it. Meanwhile, please note down the theory base of accounting. In this we have the generally accepted accounting principles. GAAP means the generally accepted accounting principles. The definition is there in your book. Please read it out. Accounting principles, they are based on concepts and conventions. Today we have studied about the concepts. These are the features and these are the actual concepts. Please note it down from the board. I hope the complete board is visible to you. Is it? Once you complete it, please let me know.
Ma'am, done.
Okay, fine.